Hey, I'm Hunt, and this is Hunt on LSU, your channel for LSU Fighting Tiger football talk. Enjoy the video. We want you to leave a comment below, hit that like button, and subscribe right below the video. Enjoy. Let's start today with what is very admittedly a bye week discussion. I would love to start breaking down an LSU game that was coming up in a couple of days, getting into the position-by-position battles, diving inside the numbers, looking at all of that. Not the case this week. They're off. So you look for ancillary topics and things to discuss. And I don't mean this to be a negative discussion, but I think it is one that we're going to end up having, so we can start it here on this bye week. I was looking at Mel Kiper's most recent big board, which he put out at the end of last week, and one of the things that caught my eye was that Garrett Nussmeier was listed among the draft-eligible quarterbacks in his top 10. He had Garrett Nussmeier listed at number 8. It doesn't surprise me that Nussmeier is being ranked. I think he's a very, very talented player, but I hadn't given a ton of thought to Garrett Nussmeier's future because that's just not worth a ton of thought in August and September. But now, as you kind of look at the program and kind of divert your attention from an immediate game that's coming up, it is worth a discussion. Okay, is he going to be here next year? And you look at this top 10 list, and Shedeur Sanders is number 1. Mel Kiper is very, very, very infatuated with Shedeur Sanders and is likely going to have him as the number 1 overall pick when that first mock draft comes out. He's got Travis Hunter as his number 1 player on the board, but he's got Shedeur as potentially the number 1 pick. Carson Beck, number 2 at Georgia. Quinn Ewers, number 3 at Texas. Miami's Cam Ward comes in at number 4. Jalen Milroe is at number 5. I got a feeling that number is going to go up a little bit, especially after last week. Keep in mind, this was published before the Georgia game. Drew Aller from Penn State at number 6. That's purely based on measurables and not at all in production. Jackson Dart from Ole Miss at 7. There's Nussmeier at 8. You're all familiar with Miller Moss at number 9. And Will Howard from Ohio State comes in at number 10. But if you're in the top 10 quarterback discussion, and you feel like this quarterback class has got its flaws. I mean, Carson Beck's been okay, but he's got a great supporting cast. Quinn Ewers has been injured. Jalen Milroe is very new to this scene and is a guy that we thought this time last year couldn't really throw the ball. Drew Aller hasn't done anything in college. Jackson Dart is a little bit undersized. Like, Garrett Nussmeier, it stands to reason, could rise pretty steadily through this group. He doesn't have great size, but he's got good enough size. He's got plenty of arm. He's got a great pedigree. You figure he'll be phenomenal in the interview rooms and on the whiteboard. It's his dad's literal job. I would imagine he'd be pretty prepared for that. Been in college for 4 years, seen the position played at a very high level, running an offense that Jaden Daniels ran to an extent last year, and now we see what Jaden Daniels is doing here. That can't do anything but help. And you look at it and you go, well, maybe it makes sense for Garrett Nussmeier to be in this conversation. There was another tweet that was sent out by Jim Nagy, who runs the Reese's Senior Bowl and who joins us on our pregame show over on Eagle 98.1 here under the Guarantee Roof. Joins the guys in the morning a good bit. We've got a great relationship with the Senior Bowl. And Jim Nagy tweeted this out just a couple days ago. Said, spoke to 4 NFL executives this past week, and all of them said the same thing about the 2025 draft. There's an unusually small number of surefire first-rounders this year. The amount of round 1 grades in most drafts is mid-teens, good drafts maybe low 20s, and based on these conversations, there's less than 10 consensus first-rounders right now at this point of the fall scouting process. Okay, you weigh that with the fact that Garrett Nussmeier is a top 10 quarterback in this class. You figure it's possibly works his way to a top 5 quarterback in this class if he has a really good season this year, which he's doing right now. And then you factor in that they don't love the tackles in this class or the rush ends in this class or the stud wideouts or corners in this class. And all of a sudden, you've got quarterbacks that are going to be overvalued, like quarterbacks are overvalued every single year in the NFL draft. Is he a top 25 pick in a bad draft at a demand position? Maybe. And look, I want to be very clear. Like, I don't have any inside information here. I don't know Garrett Nussmeier, but I can speculate. I know what his dad's been doing professionally for 2 decades. He's been in the NFL. He's had a successful career in the NFL and in college football, consistently making 6-figure salaries. I'm confident that I can sit here. Now, I haven't seen Doug Nussmeier's portfolio. I don't know how his entire diversification process has gone, but I'm confident that Garrett Nussmeier does not have a ton of people around him tugging on him to go get the first paycheck he can possibly find. I'm confident that's probably not the case. He's probably in a position where he can make a decision that's based purely on his interest and his comfort and his desires. And I have no idea what those are. I know that it's important to Garrett to play for LSU, and that's why he didn't leave to go play for someone else. But he's now gotten that opportunity. Is 1 year enough? Or does he strongly desire to come back and be the quarterback for a 5th year in college? He just saw Jaden Daniels do that. Joe Burrow did that. There are a couple of examples of guys that have had a ton of success doing it. Does he follow in those footsteps? I don't know. But what I can gather from people who know a lot more than me, and Jim Nagy and Mel Kiper know a lot more than me, this is not a great draft. It's not an elite quarterback draft. And Garrett Nussmeier is brand new to this scene. He started 5 football games, and he's in the top 8 quarterbacks in this draft class. That feels like at least the opportunity will present itself for Garrett Nussmeier to say, you know what, I'm going to move on. But again, you've got NIL where he can make some money here and certainly would as the starting quarterback. And I feel like he's not being shoved into the NFL like some people are because of the financial situation at home. Everybody's different. So the question remains, will that happen? I don't know. I know that LSU would really, really hope that it doesn't. Because despite how much fun it is to sit here and say, hey, man, LSU's got the number 1 quarterback in the nation, the number 1 player in the nation committed for next year. That is awesome. He's going to win the Heisman. LSU's going to be in the playoff for every year. LSU's going to have another Heisman Trophy winner. This is going to be incredible. Do you really want to throw him out there as a freshman? Would you rather have 5th-year senior Garrett Nussmeier, who's currently leading college football in completions, out there in those 4 road games I talked about yesterday, at Alabama, at Oklahoma, at Clemson, at Ole Miss? You want to throw the freshman out there for those? Or would you like to have the 5th-year senior back? I have my thoughts on that. I'd probably rather have the 5th-year senior back. But if Garrett Nussmeier moves on, doesn't it feel like there's a pretty good chance a true freshman can be starting for LSU next year? Not a slam dunk. They've got 3 quarterbacks on campus right now. But I'd really rather not do that. As much fun as it is to look at the recruiting rankings and see Bryce Underwood's name right there with those 3 letters next to it, maybe a year of seasoning would be fine. Jameis Winston seemed to do okay after a year of seasoning. Johnny Manziel seemed to do okay after a year of seasoning. And sure, you could point at Dylan Raiola at Nebraska. He's playing well as a true freshman, and guys have done that. Trevor Lawrence came in there as a freshman and won that job. It can be done, but is it ideal? Do you want to count on that? I'd really rather not. I'll take the guy back who has played great as a 22-year-old. It'll be a discussion that we have as we move forward in the season. And it doesn't really garner any relevance, and we're not going to get anything concrete until January. But you can rest assured that Brian Kelly and Joe Sloan will have those conversations with Garrett. And I feel comfortable saying they'll be honest conversations. This is not like recruiting where you got different suitors coming here or there and you might just get some lip service. No, this will be a good relationship that's been fostered over multiple years, and they'll figure it out. And maybe LSU goes into the transfer portal and tries to find a quarterback as well if Garrett Nussmeier moves on. I'm just suggesting that it is possible that Garrett Nussmeier will be the starting quarterback for 1 year and that the opportunity will present itself and he's going to be a top 20 pick in the NFL draft and he may move on. I don't really give that any thought when LSU's getting ready for South Carolina on the road. I give it a little bit of thought in an open week, and I thought it was reasonable to take these opinions from Mel Kiper, from Jim Nagy, from the NFL executives that he's talked to, and certainly he does. That's his job. All things are kind of pointing in that direction of there will be an opportunity there if Garrett Nussmeier wants to take it. We'll just have to see if he does. If you're looking for our LSU football content, you can find it at LouisianaSports.net. You can also find it on YouTube at Hunt on LSU. Subscribe to that channel. Get your LSU videos each and every day on our YouTube channel, Hunt on LSU. Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.